controlling is a very vital function in the functions of management. Controlling system loses some of its effectiveness when standards cannot be defined in quantitative terms. Economic environment. Now, can they control the economy or the economic environment? Definitely no. As planning was very costly, controlling is also very costly. The reason is hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Abhilash Chandra from the Department of Business Studies in Vidhyaashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence. In the first session, I told you about the meaning of controlling and then we defined it as well. And then we went with the very important topic called importance of controlling. In the session 2, I'm going to teach you about the limitations of controlling. What is it? Limitations of controlling. Here you need to understand there are like 4 points in controlling which are very important, and you will get it for 4 marks or you will get it for 2 marks. Be very attentive so that it is very easily you can actually score 4 on 4 or 2 on 2. If you get 2 marks, you are supposed to write any of the 2 and then you are supposed to explain little. If you go with 4 marks, all the 4 you are supposed to explain with the meaning. So we have the limitations here. Let's compare. See, controlling is all about what? Comparing. Comparing what? Actual performance with standard performance. Here you will get to know what are the limitations, right? Here, the first limitation is it is very difficult. What is it? It is very difficult. So we say difficulty in setting quantitative standards. I told you in my first sessions that we have 2 kind of a thing. One is qualitative, another is quantitative. See, qualitative is fine. You can actually say, okay, grade, you can grade them. But when it comes to quantitative, on what basis you're gonna actually go with quantitative? You need to analyze more and more. You need to go with a rapid check and experiment. Only then you will get to know the things. That's why it is very difficult. See here, when I say quantitative, right? Quantitative, when I say quantitative, and that to a standard quantitative, how to go with standard, setting the standard, right? So what happens here is, it's all about which one we are supposed to achieve. What is that we are supposed to achieve? You need to set a standard. So you will use scientific tools. What is that you will use? Scientific tools. Then you will actually go with what? Proper research and survey. You are supposed to go with what? Research and survey. Can we achieve that or not? So everything which is standard is what? It should be feasible. The next thing here is what? Little control on external factors. Please understand, we have 2 factors. One is internal factor and one more is external factor. Usually internal factor, that is the micro, you can actually control it, but you cannot control the macro. Macro means what? External kind of a factors. Next thing is resistance. Now we will talk more about this resistance. Hope you all have seen the very good series of Money Heist, where the professor usually says resistance. Now we'll get to know what exactly the resistance is all about. The next thing is costly affair. I'll tell you, you are supposed to go with scientific technique, research and survey. Now what do you mean to say all these things? Will you get it for free? Definitely no. It is all what? Costly. This is what happens, and these are the limitations of controlling. If you compare with the advantages, that is the importance of controlling, the limitations are only 4. So understand that controlling is a very vital function in the functions of management. You should know what are the functions of management here. Now functions of management is what? Planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. What is it? Planning. You will plan and then it will organize. After that staffing, then directing, and then controlling. So controlling, the limitations are only few, but the importance are huge in number. We'll see one by one what exactly it is. Now here, when you see the manager and the employee, let's think that, okay, this person is a manager and he is the employee. Now understand, student, what usually happens here is the employee here. What happens is you need to set a standard, that to what? A quantitative standard. For each employee, setting a standard is very difficult. The reason is there are few employees who are efficient. Let's go with the graph, right? Now the quantitative I'll convert into qualitative, right? Now here 0. Let's go with this kind of a thing. There are one person called A. Now his performance is here. Constant, right? Constant it is. Like he is, whatever you give it to him, he's doing it, but he's not maximizing his performance. It's like it's same pace he's maintaining it. Now there is one more person called B. Now his graph is like this. Sometimes it is like good, sometimes it comes down, here done, then here it goes. Now this is what the way the mood swings is, he goes with that. Now there is one more person called C. Now his graph is like this. Whatever happens, it's like less, but not more volatile. He goes with the same. Now I'll give you here. This is A, here is B, here is C. Now setting a quantitative standard for all the people, it's very difficult. That is the problem of controlling. But what usually the managers do is, the managers give target in a bulk. That means if there are like 50 people, for all the 50 people, they give a target which is like unique. It's like the same kind of a thing. It's not unique, it's like the same kind of a thing, and they are supposed to do. But what usually happens, I'll tell you. Many people there are heterogeneous. Now there are few people who are performers, there are few people who are underperformance, there are few people who are average performance. For giving everybody in a way of performers, now what happens to the two other category? Now there is a problem. So that is the reason what happens is the manager will see that the controlling will happen properly. If he will not see the process of controlling properly, then what is it? It is difficult in setting quantitative standard. Controlling system loses some of its effectiveness when standards cannot be defined in quantitative terms. Now example which I gave you, right? The 5,000 units and the 4,000 units, right? All my videos are interlinked. That means whatever I'll teach you in the session 1, you are supposed to know what's that, only then you will understand the session 2. It's like it's a chain where it is very easy for you to easily understand all the important aspects which are very vital for the examination. Now here, if students, they don't know how much to manufacture, this is the standard performance, this is the actual performance. If the manager doesn't know that how to set the standard, that to quantitative means what? Numbers, with the numbers, it is very difficult, because through the standard performance only you will compare your actual performance. So how is that, and why is that you said 5,000 only? Only because you saw the performance of your employees and overall you have taken an average where people can achieve. But what is a problem for the performers who can aram se perform more than 7,000? The thing is, you are restricting them. That is the problem. Now you will understand what usually goes in the company. The second one is little control on external factors. Please understand what is the external factor. Generally, an enterprise cannot control external factors. I'll tell you, it is not generally. Usually, people cannot control the external factor. But somehow, they need to. Such as government policy. Now, one of the company, can they control the government policy? Definitely no, they cannot go with it. Let me tell you what are the external factors. Let's go with this. External factor. Please write this. This is very important. Now, external factors are like this. S. Social. What is it? S for social. That is society. Can the company control the society? Definitely no. Next thing here is T, technology. Now, can the company control the technology? Definitely no. E, E for economic environment. Now, can they control the economy or the economic environment? Definitely no. The next one here is P. P for political. That is the government. Now, can they do it? Definitely no. I'll tell you, it is not generally, it is like definitely they cannot control. That is the reason controlling has a limitation. Controlling can only go with what? Internally they can control, but not externally. If you remember this STEP, we call it as what? Step. What is it? Step. But they can control something called competitors competition. How? Give more quality goods. Give more quality goods, definitely customers will come and buy your product. That is what happens in the controlling. So generally an enterprise cannot control external factors such as government policy, technology changes, right? That is technical changes, competition, etc. But I'll tell you what it is. You need to remember this STEP, step. What is it? S for social, that is social environment, that is a society. T is technology. E is economic environment. P is politics. So these things the controlling cannot control, that is a manager cannot control, that is a limitation. The next one here is resistance from employees. I told you the word here, resistance, you have heard in Money Heist. What is that resistance? Right? You have seen professor, the way he motivates his people and the way he actually take the hostages as his employees. So these are the things which you are supposed to know. The resistance, what is it? Sometimes over controlling is actually what? It breaks the resistance. It's like people will not work for you. The more you survey them, what exactly they are doing, are they coming on time, are they going on time. Now what happens is they feel that sometimes we aren't working fine, but many a times we are working more for the company. What is that company is giving us? More surveillance, right? More surveillance of the employees lead to what? The employees feel that the management isn't trusting us. Now what happens is trust issues happens. When trust issues happens, what will happen? The performance will definitely come down. That is what happens when over controlling is there. Now supposingly your parents, right, they do more parenting, they do more policing to you. What is that? You feel that you feel suffocated, right? You feel suffocated. Then you feel one particular kind of a thing, that is a question mark will come. Why is that my parents are not trusting me? What is that I am doing wrong? Now nothing is happening, only that they are worried about you. They'll think something more about you. So what is that you feel? You feel suffocated is what you people will actually quote. This is what happens even in the employment. That is, the more the boss or the manager is surveillancing them, what happens is the employees feel that they are being seen very keen, and then what happens is their performance will come down drastically. Controlling is often resisted by employees. They see it has a restriction on their freedom. Yes, this is what happens. Now supposingly, I'll tell you what exactly the thing is. The way you are in your house is not the same the way you are in the college, right? The reason is what? It depends on the nature, it depends on the situation. Now the minute you come to the college and there is one faculty who is only observing you, now what happens is you feel irritated. You feel irritated. Why is that the person is looking at me? Why is that wherever I go he is following? Now what is that? You will feel that that particular person is restricting your freedom. That is what happens in controlling. So over controlling sometimes make the performance come down. But trust me, if you are an employee, you don't want people to actually see you or look at you in a proper way. But when you become an employer, you want to observe each and every employee. That's why I'll tell you, see the way the 6 is written, right? The 6 is written in the opposite way, right? Now here there is a man. who's standing. Now he'll feel that this is 6. A person who's standing here, he feels it is 9. Both the way it is like the same. Understand, the way they see the process, it is totally different. The next one is costly affair. What is it? Costly affair. Controlling is very costly. As planning was very costly, controlling is also very costly. The reason is here controlling, what happens is you need to set standard. First is what? You need to set standard. Then you need to use proper tools to check the actual. That is called the actual performance. After checking the actual performance, you need to compare. What is that you need to do? You need to compare. What is that you will compare? I told you in the first session, you need to compare the deviation. What is that you need to compare? You need to compare the deviation. When you compare the actual performance with the standard, then you will get the deviation. After that, you need to analyze. Once you analyze, later you are supposed to take corrective actions. You need to take what? Actions. You need to take actions. And that to what? You need to take actions which are correct. Now understand, it's the entire process. It is what? It is the entire process. Now when you know the entire process, what happens everywhere? Now here, when you get the standards, time is taken. Time is there. Now when you go with the tools, now money is there. When you see the actual performance, now what happens? Efforts are there. You need to keep the efforts. Now when you go with deviation, then what happens is expenses are there. Too many expenses. When you go with analyzing, you are supposed to know about the research methodology. Now what happens? All these things are what? It is all what? Costly. Nothing is free. There is no free lunch in the entire world, students. Understand, controlling is what? From here till the last, it is all what? Money is involved. But what happens is the advantages also there. Accuracy is maintained, standard is maintained, people will achieve the goal effectively and efficiently. So let's see what exactly it is. Controlling is costly affair. Controlling is what? Costly affair, as it involves a lot of expenditure, time and effort. Everywhere money is involved. That is what happens in controlling. The next thing is a small enterprise. Yes, this is the biggest demerit of controlling. Small enterprises, small business, small shops, they cannot afford this type of feature. The reason is what? It is very costly. See, the small enterprises cannot afford to the install of an expensive control system. See, the control system, if you see, money heist is one of the example. Whatever the thing is controlling, the people who went for the heist also, even they had something called money. That is what it is. If you need to go with all these things, what is that you need to do? You need to have a very good team which will actually back up with finance as well as manpower. So these are the limitations of controlling. If you have any doubts, you know what exactly you are supposed to do. Thank you so much, students, and I'll see you when I see you.